Hello, welcome. My name is Lauren, and today I'm going to be showing you how I'm painting this beautiful lily painting in watercolor. Let's see if that'll focus. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you how I'm painting this and just kind of walking you through some of the techniques that I use. And I'm actually offering this painting as the original painting in my shop, so it'll be on my website available if you're interested. But yeah, otherwise, let's just go ahead and get started with painting. So I'm just mixing up some of this really light, very watery yellow colored paint. I think I mixed a little bit of brown and a little bit of purple in there to make it a little bit more neutral, not like a super bright yellow. And I'm just kind of going over all of the petals of each of the flowers and the different blooms and just doing like a very light, very watery base coat just to kind of cover and have like a little bit of color on the petals. So once that is all completed and it's all dry, then I'm going to go in and add in some new layers and like kind of build up the contrast and just add some really thin lines. So I'm using a smaller round brush and just adding in some details and doing it in a lot of layers. So starting off with some thin lines, and then I'll add to it a little bit more. And I will play around with wet on wet. So I'll do like a little bit of a layer that's watery, and then I can go over it again when it is still wet, as opposed to waiting for it to completely dry. So I do play around with that technique a little bit. And then for other pieces that I really do want it to be a little bit darker, I will wait for it to dry, and then I'll go over and add those lines on it there so it doesn't just all kind of blur and blend together. So yeah, I kind of just slowly work my way up and work on each of those little blooms. They're pretty similar, where it's just a lot of line work and a little bit of shading, and then the flowers are a little bit more tedious, but yeah, still pretty similar. And then I mix up a couple different greens. I do like a light yellow version, and then I'll do more of like a cool tone green where I add in a little bit of more of like a turquoisey blue. So yeah, a little bit more of cool tone for the darker shades and warmer ones with yellow for lighter colors. And I just kind of build up the stems and work on the leaves a little bit, do like a base color for the main leaf, and then I'll go over it again with some of the darker shades and build it up that way. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the leaves and the stems. And then going back to the flowers, I'm building these up again, still working on kind of my filming techniques and trying to get the angles right. And I'm someone that likes to work like really close to the page just so that I can see it better. So I'm sorry that you can see my head and some of the shots here, and yeah, still working on the angles of this. But yeah, I just like to work really close to the page so I can see everything. But I'm basically using kind of the similar techniques where I'm just building up the different line work and adding in some different contrasted pieces. And yeah, I use pretty much the same color throughout the entire painting. I didn't really vary much from it. I just wanted to use that similar yellow color for most of the petals. And I will throw up the reference photo that I used for this piece so you can kind of see like what I'm going off of and kind of what it looks like in relation to that. But I really just worked on one petal at a time and focused on getting the shading right on it, and then letting some of those pieces dry, obviously, and then going back and working on it again a little bit later. So yeah, it did take, I feel like I worked on this a few different days. So I think I did take a week off and worked on some other projects and then came back to this one. So I didn't do it all in one sitting, but yeah, this one was really fun to do. I really enjoyed this one. It was a little bit different. I wanted to kind of challenge myself with working on like a different type of flower, and I really like lilies. I think they're really pretty. I think these are lilies, right? Now I'm getting confused, but yeah, I think these are lilies, but I'll double check. But yeah, I think they're really pretty, and it was kind of a fun challenge to work on like a different type of flower. Sometimes I can get into a little routine of just kind of working on the same thing over and over. So I've been trying to push myself and work on some pieces that are kind of outside of my comfort zone or just a little bit different. So yeah, these definitely were a good challenge for me. And for the stamens of the two flowers in the middle here, you can see kind of on the lower left side, I kind of briefly outlined some of the little stamen pieces and little pollen particles in there. And I'm going to go over it and add in a little bit more detail once those pieces dry. But yeah, right now I'm working on the other flower and adding in all of those shading and contrasting pieces. And yeah, I think like the stamen was actually a little bit more challenging because the line work was really small and the area I was working on was also really tiny. So yeah, I think that was probably the most challenging part of it. Otherwise, I did get into a good routine with the petals of most of these flowers. They were pretty straightforward after I practiced on some of the other ones. But yeah, so basically for the stamen, I mixed up a brighter green, wanted it to pop a little bit more and make it stand out. And then I mixed up a kind of an orangey yellow and then a lighter yellow. And then once the initial layers kind of dried, then I went in like I'm doing right now and I'm just adding in some of those details. So I did a little bit of an outline around the green stamen, and then I just drew some lines around the little pollen pieces in there. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I did go back in a little bit later once like most of it dried and just touched some stuff up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.